was against the defense for exoneration of Darren Wilson and the Ferguson Police Department. And we can start.
Prosecution. Opening statement, please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, and good morning, Our Honor. Many of us often spend our time daydreaming about our future and wondering about the future success that we have to come. And I know that Mike Brown has spent his time, or did spend his time, thinking about his life in the future. He was a newly graduated high school student who had his whole life ahead of him. And his life was snatched away from him from Officer Darren Wilson of the Ferguson Police Station. Those chances that he had were stolen away from him on August 9th by someone who was supposed to protect him and his community. We are here to expose the acts of injustice committed by Officer Darren Wilson against Brown due to racism. Many people believe that we live in a post-racial America due to the election of President Obama, but I urge you guys to open your eyes and really look at what's happening in reality. Are we really living in a post-racial society? I want it to be clearly understood that this is not a case about race. This is not a case about an African American. This is a case about establishing justice. Justice that many fought for before us, and many died for, and even Mike Brown died for. The government bestowed police officers with authority so they can keep order and control in their societies. But the real question here is, if we can't trust our police, then who can we really trust? Thank you.
Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this is a sad case. A young man has lost his life, and another one is fighting for his. There are no winners today. Darren Wilson is not guilty of racially profiling murder. The defendant shot Brown in self-defense after being viciously attacked by Brown. The defense will use in the testimonies of the defendant, Darren Wilson, the defense will use the testimonies of the defendant, Darren Wilson, who was the officer acting under self-defense, the store clerk, Mike Patel, who will testify about an unusual accident involving Mike Brown from earlier in that day, an expert witness who is also the medical examiner in this case. She will talk about the autopsy and toxicology of Michael Brown. And finally, the chief police of Ferguson, Missouri, will testify about the city of Ferguson, as well as the police department and the defendant himself. If any reasonable doubt formulates in the jury's mind, then the defendant must be seen as not guilty. If any second guesses or any ambiguity concerning the charges against the defendant ever arise in the proceedings, the defendant is not guilty. Reasonable doubt will be presented in this case because we, the defense, will convince you, the jury, that there is reason to believe that based on the evidence the defense will provide during the course of the trial, Wilson's killing of Brown was not an act of murder and racial profiling, but instead an act of self-defense.